Well, hello everybody. The prodigal son returns. The date is the 5th of April, and I know it's been nearly a year, I guess, since we've spoken. Um, and I want to apologize for my absence, but I am too proud of what I've accomplished in the past several months. Forgive me, I'm multitasking. The past past what 7 months or so have been brutally hectic. After the election, I kind of pittered away from the scene, I guess. I didn't post many videos, and I know that some of you, I hope, wished that I had been around when I wasn't. But in the meantime, I had completed my 4th year of psychology, or last semester in the semester. In fact, I just, about an hour ago, passed in my independent project, for better or for worse. But, more importantly, aside from a few small projects that'll have finished in a day or two, and 3 exams, I'm done. Theoretically, I've graduated psychology. So, it's been a whirlwind year for me. I'm sure you can imagine from, if you followed the previous videos, from the way that I lived during the election, with work and exams and campaigning for what little campaigning I did, and so on. It only got worse since. But it all worked out well. I worked all summer, and and my van worked out to my advantage, my taxi. But before I get into that, I have a few shout-outs of appreciation to send. I wanted to thank my professors at Grenfell for dragging my sorry ass over the coals to get me past and to get me through. I'm sure otherwise I would have been hanging from a strong beam somewhere. In addition, the fine people at Corner Taxi for being so supportive and helping a relative rookie, I guess, go through with taxi business and the misery that I was clearly suffering. As well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, my background here is not the typical one, because in the midst of all this stress and starvation and challenge and etc., I am experiencing a change of address. And some old friends of mine from 10 years ago were kind enough to take me in for a few months. So I want to give my kindest regards to the Browns for letting me be the troll in their basement ever since Christmas, just before Christmas. In addition, there are some people that I don't know if I could live without, especially given the hardship that I've suffered this semester. So I guess you know who you are. The people who have never left my side, no matter how much of a moody bitch I was for the past few months. So I really appreciated this year, the past 7 or 8 months, how much I needed the people in my circle. And I don't know if I would, and this is going to sound terribly cliche, I don't know if I would have survived if it weren't for them. And you clearly know who you are. I make it painfully aware to those who I am in debt to. But beyond that, after spending $1,100 in the taxi, the Dodge Caravan that I purchased year before last, driving it home, more or less, the transmission blew. So I'm out of vehicle, and I was at my full-time job. So Anne and I were both out of vehicle and work. Though, thanks to Dr. Bear and Dr. Robinson and Lorna Payne, I was able to mostly make ends meet using student jobs on campus. Their patience is appreciated. And I managed to do alright for that, at least. In the stead of working full-time at the taxi, I worked full-time doing interviews and library analysis and archival information, oh my. But that was all well and good. I made it through that too. I had that really bad bug that was floating around Canada and was killing people on the mainland, and everyone in the house was sick for a few months, and I fell 3 weeks behind in my classes, and I'm still not caught up on projects that were due in February. And thank God for the professors who realize that when I tell them that it can't be done, it genuinely can't be done. But again, I'm past the worst of it, and according to my plan, I'll be caught up completely, even ahead of some things on Saturday, today being Thursday. So, perfect. You'll have to bear with me as well. I'm trying some new technology. I bought a brand new microphone, a high definition microphone that I used in my interviews. And on that, last semester, I worked with Frederick Brown and the Ferris Hodgett Library on a MUSEP grant to collect interviews of my grandmother. The woman will turn 90 this coming February. She turned 89 just past. She has lived through a world war, Confederation, and she is still kicking. The woman is just as headstrong and difficult as she always was, and I wouldn't want her to change. But I made 4 hours of active video. The quality could be better, but that's okay. I speak her language, so we managed okay. And that was one grant. For I transcribed an hour of footage out of that 4, and I still have that, and I'll have it forever. Most people, I'm sure, regret not having memories of the grandparents, so I have that of her. I also took 2 hours of transcriptions of the same theme of my mother and her childhood using this HD microphone, and it works out beautifully. I really hope that the sound quality is okay. So, there's that. I haven't written a tap creatively since, I guess, last Christmas, almost, when I was working on interdiction. Though, I was involved in a project called The Idea Garden. It's a creative writing website. I'll put a link to that below. It's a random story generator type software, and it had a lot of potential. I just didn't have the time, given my schedule. I started my degree in 2009, and I took 6 courses every semester, 5 courses one summer, 3 courses another summer. Nailed a degree in 3 years. A 4-year bachelor degree, 40 credits or whatever. It was a mistake, but I've got it done, and I'm almost past it. For what the hell good a psychology degree is going to do to me living on a farm, but that's okay. The Eco-Village has been progressing beautifully. I had been forced to revise the structure half a dozen more times, quelle surprise. Anyone who's been involved in the project so far has known that's not out of the ordinary. But, as I said, celebration time. But the community has taken a little bit of a different tangent to a definite positive. Starting May 1st, running until September 21st, I will be training for a cross-provincial trek on bicycle to raise awareness for the Canadian Diabetes Association. My parents, my grandmother, both have diabetes, and many people who are involved, volunteers, have all been touched by it in some way. It turns out that 1 in 10 Newfoundlanders have diabetes in some way, type 1, type 2, what have you. So, I will be cycling 1,000 kilometers, 650 miles or so, in 10 days. We'll see how that goes. The trip is planned to go from St. John's to Port-aux-Basques, and we'll see if I have the itinerary memorized. Port-aux-Basques, Whitburn, Clarenville, Gander, Grand Falls, Springdale, Deer Lake, Corner Brook, Stephenville, St. David's, Port-aux-Basques. Those are the stops. My hope is to get a sponsor for the bike equipment. I won't say who that is in case they turn me down, but I'm hoping to get a sponsor for that. As well, I want to get a bed and breakfast or hotel or something in every community that I visit to put me up for the night in exchange for an interview and advertising rights. I worked a job recently that gave me a lot of insight into how to do fundraising, that sort of thing. So hopefully it'll work out well. I've spoken with Elizabeth May, the leader of the Green Party, and she, as MP, incidentally, is very supportive of this. She wants to get her fingers in this particular pie. As well, I've got other members of the Green Party involved. I want to contact other MPs. Again, I won't mention who they are in case they turn me down. I can't imagine they will, though. But I want to get one from every party and hopefully have a rainbow assortment of political support for this initiative. Canadian politics has really turned to shit, and I'm hoping that it turns around. And my goal is to show people in this province, at the very least, 'cause I can't control what happens elsewhere, to show people that the parties can cooperate. So, that'll take place in September. I spoke with the girls at the Canadian Diabetes Association office in St. John's. They're ecstatic, and rightfully so, to have an initiative of this scale. And that should turn out beautifully. 5 months of training to get myself up to the ability to cycle 150 kilometers in a 12-hour day. Won't be impossible, but it'll be an impressive feat when I finish. Next year, I'm hoping to be able to kayak across the Straits. 10 kilometers across the ocean in the Straits of Belle Isle between the Northern Peninsula and Labrador. Google Earth or Google Maps if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I will look up the map and verify specifically the place names. It's still in debate, but right now it's been advised to use Savage Cove, I'm pretty sure. I know this side of the trip pretty well, but I don't know the coast of Labrador in this area. English Point, I'm thinking. It's a nice sheltered inlet. From Savage Cove or Nameless Cove or Flowers Cove, that area, all the way across, about 10 clicks, into English Point and back for next year. Ideally in a kayak, strip-built kayak that I made myself. I'm learning to do that now. But that's next year's goal, and that's quite a ways off just yet. That's okay. So, my last exam is on the 20th, and I intend to move out to my ancestral home in St. David's, in the cottage that I was basically raised in. My parents have a 6-acre plot of land out there, and I'm going to be building my house. It'll be an Earth ship type. Earth is in the planet, ship is in a ship at sea, pioneered by Michael Reynolds in Taos, New Mexico. Look it up if you have to. It's beautiful stuff. I'll be using that theme, but I'll be designing one of my own, using cord wood construction and a round wood timber frame. Long story behind that, but again, the video's getting long as it is. I will be moving out there in the last part of April and begin the whole process on the 1st of May. Beltane, pagan holiday, fertility, birth and beginnings. It fits. Beautiful. Also, I can't even begin to express my thanks to Karen Wilcox Gorman, one of the eco-villagers, and she already lives off-grid and has enough faith in the project, and dare I say in me, that she already bought the plans for a bandsaw mill. A hand-fabricated tool, like a bandsaw, but all made out of wood, with the fittings, the hinges, the motor, the belt, and the blade are the only things you don't make yourself. Everything else is carpentry type. She bought the tools, she bought the plans, and I have access to the tools in my father's workshop, and I will create a lumber mill that will harvest the wood out in the Highlands, St. Fintan's, whatever, the original eco-village site, to build the house in St. David's. And when I buy the HD camcorder, the JVC GZ E200, it's a HD camcorder, records native 1080p at 30 FPS with a ×40 optical zoom. Mint camera. I can't wait. Digital camcorder. When I get that, we won't be recording on my webcam anymore, and it won't be, cheesy 20 FPS or whatever this is, and low quality. And the microphone is also 16-bit, the same quality as this blue snowball model microphone, which is also impressive. So that'll be a big triumph when I get all that equipment. But the video is 15 minutes long now. Thank you all for your attention during the election. If you had followed me then, if you hadn't, shame on you, and thank you for being here now. If you had not seen those videos, drop by. They really reflect my personality well, I think. And if you don't like what you see then, you probably won't like what you see in the future videos when I get the camera. I will be having tutorials and reviews and interviews and picture slideshows and music featured by Eco-Village volunteers. I really think it is going to be a spectacular show when the time comes. The goal is to have the first house built by the first frost, and I really think it's got a good chance of success. Thank you all for watching, and I really wish you all a great night. I'll see you in future videos.